Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are strapping on our virtual running shoes, I guess you could say.
Oh, yeah.
We're diving headfirst into the world of virtual races and challenges. You know, this whole fitness thing that just exploded, especially when all the real world events stopped.
Right.
But look, we're not just talking about, oh, it's convenient to run in your neighborhood. We want to get into the psychology, the rigorous, sometimes really surprising mental game behind crossing that digital finish line.
That's such a key point because the first thought is often, oh, virtual racing, that's just the easy option, a substitute.
Exactly.
And our mission today really is to kind of dismantle that idea.
Yeah.
We need to unpack the unique mental hurdles, the clever ways people actually keep themselves going, and the deep, real rewards you get from hitting these digital fitness goals. It goes way beyond just convenience.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've ever signed up for one of those 100-mile virtual challenges over a month, this is definitely not a shortcut. It takes a level of self-discipline that honestly can feel almost superhuman sometimes.
Totally.
So we want you listening right now to come away really understanding the powerful psychological stuff happening, both from the organizer side and, importantly, inside your own brain during this whole process.
Okay. So where do we start? The initial boom.
Let's do it. That massive surge in people signing up, especially during those, well, let's call them the paused years.
Right.
It seems like it was driven by some pretty powerful psychological needs. Our sources, they point straight away to escapism.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, think about it. When all the external stuff, the news, the uncertainty felt overwhelming. Physical activity became this controlled space. But more than just activity, it was the structured goal of a virtual race. That felt like an antidote almost to the chaos outside.
A counterbalance.
Exactly. Committing to a specific distance, say, you're going to virtually run the length of the Appalachian Trail. You were basically creating order and control in your own little world when the bigger world felt, well, totally unpredictable.
And that need for structure, it fed right into another big one. Community. We were all physically isolated.
Yeah.
But these digital platforms, these race groups, they offered this surprisingly strong sense of connection, didn't they?
Oh, definitely. Sharing your runs, your struggles, your little wins online.
Yeah.
That became a really vital touch point for a lot of people.
And then there's the new challenges aspect. I mean, all the usual ways we might push ourselves, like training for the local 10K or marathon.
Gone. Overnight.
Right. So these virtual events stepped in. They offered a structured, achievable goal when other options just vanished.
It tapped into that fundamental human drive, to improve, to master something, to push boundaries. It just shifted that drive into a digital space.
Okay, but what's really interesting is how the mechanics of signing up play into this. Our desire for immediate gratification.
Yes, the instant sign up.
It's so easy, isn't it? Click, put in your details, confirm, done, you're in.
And that taps right into our brain's reward system. That little hit of satisfaction from completing a task, making a commitment, it lowers that psychological hurdle to actually starting.
But wait, isn't there a paradox there? If it's so easy and instant to sign up, does that maybe undermine the long-term grit you need for, say, a 3-month virtual challenge?
That's a great question. It's like the quick sign up gets you hooked, gets you through the door, right? That initial dopamine buzz makes it easy to commit.
Okay.
But the real psychological test, that starts weeks later when the novelty wears off and you're facing another solo run in the rain.
Yep.
That immediate gratification hooks you, but sustaining the effort. That needs much deeper, more internal motivation.
So how do organizers keep people engaged then to fight that potential, fizzle? One huge thing seems to be virtual travel.
Oh, absolutely massive. This isn't just about running 50 miles. It's about running 50 miles along the Great Wall of China, virtually.
Right. They map these distances onto iconic routes, historical trails, beautiful landscapes all over the world.
Which completely changes the game psychologically.
Yeah.
You're not just pounding the same old pavement around your block. You're mentally trekking from, Machu Picchu down the Inca Trail.
Yeah.
And many events layer in little facts, cultural insights as you log your miles.
So it turns your workout into a kind of mini adventure, virtual exploration.
Exactly. That narrative layer, that sense of journey, it's crucial for keeping people plugged in over the long haul. It fights the monotony.
Okay, so we get why people jump in. The sign-up is easy, the concept is cool, but starting is one thing.
Right.
The real deep dive, like you said, starts when that initial excitement fades. The long, often lonely slog, this is the mental marathon. And it seems like it all comes down to self-discipline.
Entirely. Think about a traditional race. You've got the buzz of the crowd, the music, the starting gun, seeing other runners.
Yeah, all that energy.
All huge external motivators. In the virtual space, no cheering crowds. It's literally just you and the clock or the app. All that external scaffolding, the stuff that normally helps pull you along, it's just gone. Success rests completely on your internal drive, your own why.
And that lack of external energy, that void, it can lead to this specific kind of burnout the sources mention. Virtual fatigue. Virtual fatigue,
yeah, it's a very real thing. It's that that drain on your motivation that comes from the lack of physical presence, the sheer sameness of training alone.
Like hitting mile 10 on the exact same loop for the umpteenth time.
Precisely, day after day. Without that tangible buzz of a race day or someone physically handing you a medal at the end, your brain starts to ask, why am I doing this again? That internal friction, that feeling of, this again, that's virtual fatigue setting in. The excitement just drains away.
Okay, that sounds genuinely tough to push through. So how do people cope? What strategies do they use to sort of, hack their own psychology and keep going when that fatigue bites?
Well, they essentially try to recreate some of that missing external structure, but internally or maybe digitally. The first big one is connection. Finding accountability partners.
Teaming up.
Exactly. Or joining online groups dedicated to the challenge. Just knowing someone else is expecting you to check in or sharing your progress publicly on a platform. It adds a kind of social stake. You don't want to let your virtual buddy down, Ray.
That social pressure, even if it's light, can be surprisingly powerful. You're not just quitting on yourself.
Precisely. The second key tool is using progress tracking apps. And these are way more than just simple mileage logs.
Right. They often have maps and graphics.
Exactly. They give you a visual sense of your journey. When your actual physical run feels monotonous, seeing that digital map fill up or watching your little avatar move across a country, that creates a tangible feeling of accomplishment. The digital progress becomes the reward when the physical reality is kind of boring.
It makes the invisible effort visible.
Well put. And the third strategy is about bringing back that competitive edge. Gamification elements.
Okay, so like leaderboards.
Yep.
Digital badges for hitting milestones.
Yep. Leaderboards are huge. Even if you know you're not going to win, seeing where you rank against thousands of others worldwide, that can really reignite your competitive spark.
It turns it back into a game.
It does. It injects a bit of that external pressure back into what can otherwise feel like a very solitary grind. Pushing for a certain rank or hitting a challenge goal before the deadline, it works.
Let's shift gears a bit then to the reward system itself. Because even without a physical finish line, there's clearly a payoff, this idea of dopamine on demand.
Yes. Completing a virtual race, hitting that final goal, it hits a very fundamental neurological button.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the power of the badge.
The digital medal you get.
Exactly. Or the digital token, the certificate. Even though it's not something you can physically hold, it acts as a really potent symbol. It's proof. It's a tangible, digitally tangible representation of all that effort. And seeing it, receiving it, that triggers genuine feelings of pride and satisfaction.
And the fascinating thing is the brain doesn't seem to mind that it's digital, does it? This gets into the neuroscience of accomplishment.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Our brains are wired for goal completion. When you virtually cross that finish line, submit your time, get that confirmation, and the badge pops up, your brain releases dopamine. Now, we often think of dopamine as just the pleasure chemical, but it's maybe more accurately the motivation and reinforcement chemical.
Okay.
It gets released in anticipation of the reward, driving the behavior, and then reinforces it afterwards. Your brain essentially logs. Okay, doing that hard thing led to this good feeling and recognized achievement. Let's remember that. Let's maybe do it again.
So that digital completion reinforces the behavior, strengthens those mental pathways, just as effectively as getting a physical medal around your neck.
Largely, yes. The core mechanism is the same. Effort, goal completion, reward signal.
And what's really striking is how closely the emotional journey seems to mirror a live event. People report feeling actual pre-race anxiety, even if they're just running solo around their neighborhood for the final leg.
Well, think about it. You've probably set a specific day, maybe even a time, for your final push.
Right.
You still feel that build up, the anticipation, the nerves. Maybe you check the weather obsessively. There's an internal pressure to perform against your own goal, your own deadline. It psychologically mimics the real thing.
And then afterwards,
once you've uploaded your results, got the confirmation, boom, you experience that post-race glow. That intense feeling of accomplishment, satisfaction, relief, it confirms the effort was meaningful. The brain validates the investment, regardless of the venue being physical or virtual.
Okay, so beyond the individual brain chemistry, what about the collective? Let's talk about the strength of these online race communities. How do they manage to build real camaraderie among essentially strangers scattered all over?
It seems to come down to frequent positive interactions, things like virtual high fives on the apps.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Or shout-outs in the Facebook group, cheering comments on someone's shared run on Strava. These little hits of positive reinforcement add up.
They replace the roadside cheers.
In a way, yes. They combat the isolation. They make that solitary training effort feel, paradoxically, quite collective. You feel seen, acknowledged.
And social media plays a huge role here too, right? Specifically for accountability, using platforms like Instagram or Strava to document the journey. It's like making a public declaration.
Oh, it's a brilliant psychological move, whether people realize they're doing it intentionally or not. And the moment you post, hey everyone, I'm attempting the 1,000-kilometer Run the Nile challenge.
You're committed. Publicly.
Exactly. You've put your goal out there. Now, the desire to eventually share the I did it post, or maybe the slight fear of having to admit you didn't, that becomes a really powerful external motivator, cutting through the internal I can't be bothered today voice.
Okay, so pulling this together, what's the bigger picture here? The long-term impact? Is it just about running, or does this translate? The sources talk about building broader resilience.
I think this is maybe the most profound takeaway. The skills you hone doing these challenges, that intense self-discipline, the consistent goal setting, the time management needed to fit in the miles, these aren't just running skills. They bleed over into everything else.
How so?
Well, when you look back and reflect on what you managed, pushing through boredom, organizing your schedule when nobody was forcing you, relying entirely on yourself to hit that big goal, you build this deep foundational confidence.
Right.
People realize, wow, if I can do that, I can probably handle this tough project at work, or I can stick to this other long-term goal. It proves to you that you're capable of handling difficult, self-directed things. That sense of mastery is huge.
It builds resilience for life's other challenges.
Exactly. Translates into professional drive, maybe more stability in managing personal goals, and just generally more confidence to take on new, unrelated challenges.
And looking ahead, it seems the world of virtual fitness isn't standing still. It's evolving specifically to tackle some of the challenges we've talked about, like that virtual fatigue.
Yeah, the tech is getting really interesting. We're moving beyond just tracking apps. The sources are really buzzing about augmented reality races.
Okay, explain that. Like running with goggles on.
Not necessarily goggles, maybe just through your phone screen initially. But imagine running your usual route outside, but your phone's camera shows an AR overlay. Maybe you see virtual competitors running alongside you.
Oh.
Or visual markers mapping out the famous scenic trail you're virtually on, popping up on your actual path.
That would definitely combat the monotony, injecting novelty right into your run.
Exactly. It adds visual interest, real-time feedback, maybe even a sense of presence with other runners.
And then pairing that with AI-driven coaching, that sounds like next-level personalization.
It really is. Think beyond just AI suggesting pace or distance. Imagine AI that analyzes not just your run data, but maybe sleep patterns, stress levels from other input, and then dynamically adjusts your training plan, your goals, even sends motivational prompts tailored exactly to what you might need that day. It's like having a super personalized, responsive coach in your pocket 24/7.
Blurring the lines between digital and physical even further.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All aimed at keeping that motivation high and making the experience more engaging and effective.
So wrapping this all up, the big takeaway for you, the listener, seems to be this. The real pull of virtual racing, the deep attraction, it isn't just about convenience. It's not just an easier option.
Not at all.
It's about how incredibly well it taps into these fundamental human needs we have. The need for motivation, for structured goals, for connection, even if digital, and ultimately for tangible personal growth. It validates your effort in a way that's clear, measurable, and feels rewarding.
And that satisfaction, it really goes beyond the moment you log your final mile. The whole journey, the discipline, the training, pushing through the tough days and finally completing it, that becomes this reservoir of personal pride. It fundamentally reinforces your own resilience. It proves to you that you can set a hard goal and see it through. And that self-knowledge is incredibly powerful for tackling whatever comes next.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to chew on. If the discipline, the resilience, the self-belief you gain from hitting a tough, self-directed virtual milestone, if that translates so directly into real-world success in your job, your relationships, other life goals, does that mean the virtual finish line basically serves the exact same core psychological purpose as a physical one? And pushing that further, what other digital milestones in your life could you apply the same framework of self-discipline, tracking, and maybe even public accountability to? Something to think about as you set your sights on your next big goal, virtual or otherwise.
Definitely food for thought.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the psychology of the digital finish line. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.